And welcome again to my YouTube channel. Today we'll be looking at how do we modify the behaviors of our employees. That means how do we reinforce some behaviors that we need in the life of our employees. Because once the behaviors of employees are modified or reinforced to a better one, you are indirectly saying you want to eliminate behaviors that those employees are having that is not beneficial to your organization, that is not helpful to the managers of those organizations, to a more better acceptable, uh, compatible behaviors that will help the organization to achieve the goals they need to achieve. And in modifying these behaviors, we are talking about those techniques that you can use to get employees to change their behaviors, because every employee will come with his or her own trainings, family background, university, different things that they are coming with. And where they're coming from is not where you're coming from. Where I'm coming from is not where they're coming from. And because we're all coming from different places, there should be something that will unite us. There should be behaviors that be compatible. That each of us should put on table to be able to help us achieve whatever goal the organization has set for all of us. So managers use this behavioral change to motivate employees and allow them to achieve organization objective or enhance them to achieve it. So you use it to reinforce desirable work behaviors and punish unwanted workplace behaviors that you don't want. So what are some of those techniques that you can use to change those behaviors of your employees? The first one I will advise you to use is what is a positive reinforcement behavior, where you encourage employees that have put up good behaviors, either by clapping for them or cheering them up, or giving them praises, pat at the back, handshakes, whatever it is that will change those behaviors. Because if the person is behaving in a particular way that is not suitable to organization, and the person decide to put up a better behavior, or you're able to convince the person to put up, and the person will be like, oh, this particular behavior suits me, or this particular behavior is not what is wanted. Let's say somebody that used to be angry, and somebody doesn't allow somebody to talk, or somebody that is always troublesome, and all of a sudden in a meeting the person is no longer troublesome, the person is no longer angry, the person is just listening, today you did this, you clap for the person, and the person sits back very well. Then you can also use the negative reinforcement, where you try to drop or remove everything that give that person the strength that makes him or her behave such a way. Just like when our children misbehave, we have certain things we give them as privilege that will take away. And that thing is, maybe the person is on computer, you are calling, or game, and you are calling, and the person is not listening, you take that game away. That thing that was giving the person the strength when you are talking, for the person not to listen, now you're taking it away, so the person has no alternative than to listen to you. So you can also use that as a weapon, take away whatever is that strength that the person have, and then that will help the person change and begin to listen to those behaviors you want to listen to. Then you could also use punishment, put people in a downtime. Somebody doesn't want to do job, doesn't want, okay, since we are trying to change you, if okay, we will not give you jobs or this particular job again. You could also take sack, if you try the better option and the person, you could also withhold entitlement. Okay, every money we give to you, you misplaces it or you misuse it. So whatever it is that is entitlement in this organization, we're holding it back for all those ones that. So that could be a reinforcement to get the person to change his behavior of when once money is given to him, he doesn't hold on to it very well. Then you can use the flooding method, where what you do, you try to put up exposure therapy that takes away fear, takes away those things that is making the person to put up those behaviors that are not needed. So like just things like you can come to me, I am your colleague, I am your manager, I am like your senior brother, come to me, there's no fear, you reason with the person. Those flooding that exposes the person, a kind of therapy, you can put it. You can use systematic desensitization, where you try to put the person in a relaxed mood, use relaxation to remove all forms of phobia that the person had towards the organization or towards other employees or towards managers. You can use aversion therapy, where you use pleasant testing of other substances to discourage certain behavior. Person choose his hand or her hand in the meetings, It's okay for a meeting when we're coming in, you bring bitter cola, you put this in your mouth so that once it's bitter, the person will not want to chew, or the person is chewing gum or something, so the person is not chewing his hand. So you can use that also. You can also use a station where you don't respond to those persons' behaviors. Maybe there are certain behaviors that they used to put in place. When they put it, you just ignore. All of you ignore. When the person, everybody is ignoring me, the person would definitely want to put up a later behavior that will attract people to the person. So how do we influence this change in behavior? We have to like the person, bring them closer, agree with them in certain things, make them feel belong and loved their way. Then reciprocate all the things that they're giving to us, like they give, people like to give and to take. So when they give good, you give them good. When they give the other one, you two could stand up and say, no, we refuse this, you refuse. Also, you could also use that reciprocity, or you use authority where you put your feet down to say, no, this one is not allowed in this organization. We refuse to accept it, and we're not going to accept it, so we're not going to do it again. You can also use commitment and consistency. Even for your own part, as a manager, you want them to come early, and their behavior is that they are already used to life of coming to events later. You are there early, you're committed to the work, you're everywhere, and they're seeing you. Before they know it, they just tell towards your footsteps and start to do what you need that want it to be. You can also use scarcity where you take away those things that need to be taken away, and then you also use it to make them to behave well. You can use influence your framework of influences to also influence the person to do well. You can also use social proof to also help the person to do very, very well. So what are the steps that you need to use to modify the behavior or the behavioral pattern of your employees? You can by either one, defining the behaviors that you want in that particular organization to be able to achieve the organizational objective. So you say, this is what it is that we want, this is how it is we want it to be done in this particular organization. We're not going to take anything less. So you put up that specific defined behavior you want. You must put it down. Then set the objectives of this your behavior. Set it up immediately so that you use it to increase. We are setting up this objective that these are what we want to achieve with this behavior. This is what we want to increase. This is what we want to decrease. Set it up, and then it's also, and then I reward as many that have modified their behaviors. That way, you encourage more other people to modify their behavior. Even the one that have modified, if there's another one left behind, please, the person, you see that the person will, through this, begin to drop the other behaviors that are not good. So you use it. Then when you award some reward to the person to modify the behaviors, you also begin to implement every plan of it that you need, and track all those plans. You put a plan. This is how we're going to, from here, this is we're going to send you to therapy. We're going to help you do this. We're going to put a plan. Track those plans. In case of therapy, how did you go? How many times did you go? When did you go? You monitor the person, monitor the person that's giving the therapy, and all these things go very well hand in hand. You see the person doing better. Then evaluate those plans to see that, and be double checked that it is working, and working for that particular employee as much as possible. So if you could put all these little things I've told you now into place, you see that your employees will begin to have a better behavior when it comes to workplace. They begin to drop those other behaviors that they have picked along their growth before coming to the age of work, and then they will drop it and begin to align with the behaviors you want in your organization, so that there will be peace. Because if the person brings, this one brings, another person brings, and they all bring different things, there will be conflict in the place of work. So to avoid that, let's modify the behaviors of our employees with all these little things I've said to you today. That's where we'll end today's topic. We'll pick another topic that's interesting in HR. Thank you for listening, and God bless you. See you next time.